So I built a computer recently, right before the RAM apocalypse, and I gotta say I really dodged the nuke as far as gaming PCs went. So I bought this system from someone in college, and then I ended up upgrading the CPU, PSU, RAM, and the motherboard. And so I figured, with 2 of each of those parts, I might as well build another system. And it's good because days after I bought these remaining parts for that system, the RAM apocalypse began. And I then purchased some more storage, GPUs, and whatnot, and then a week after that, those prices went up too. With the way that everything has been going and looking in our government and Western society right now, is it any surprise that it feels like a conspiracy to take away hardware and personal computing from the everyman to make cloud-focused subscriptions a requirement for everything? Is it any surprise these companies are pushing for biometric regulation regarding what we can say and do and access online, and tie it to our government-approved ID for our government-approved right think? To me, that's gross and disgusting, and with the greedy push from idiots and fintech bros pushing AI slop, it makes sense why people are spam buying PC parts. It makes sense why people are building maxed out DDR3 systems. It makes sense why the Steam Deck is out of stock. It's unfortunate, but people are not ready to go down this horrible future where you pull out your subscription-based big brand laptop and log in with your driver's license, and then open up GeForce Now and sign in with your driver's license, and then play your game for no more than 100 hours per month when you're not working, and so on and so forth. The last time I made a video like this, it was about my complaints with streaming services for music and not owning the things I purchase, when it's better and more economical to purchase directly from artists I want to support. And it covered issues like when someone else owns your data, like PlayStation locking your games from you, or music and TV streaming sites removing content after a while for either sample clearance reasons or for show licensing. And these issues still exist. Game Pass and Xbox are struggling to stay alive in this current market, so my points in that video still stand. Games are still unoptimized, and we've only progressed along the downward spiral, like Emp Lemon. That's a bar. PC gaming has always been a craze everywhere except the US. Australia and the UK went crazy with PC gaming in the early 2000s, but that same attention wasn't focused in the US and Japan, with consoles being widely more accessible to the average person. And I'd say since about 2016 or so, PC gaming really took off in the US and became more of the phenomenon we know it as today. Everything from building a PC to the memes of Steam sales and everything, it was a phenomenon. With more and more people migrating from console to PC, it was impossible for the powers that be of enshittification to not take notice and want to profit from the unwashed masses. PC gaming gave the user full or at least more control over their system and games, as opposed to a lockdown console experience, whether you went with something like an Xbox One, PS4, or Switch. Over time, the only console that really retained a user base into the modern day with consistent profit margins is the Switch. But even nowadays, the enshittification of the Switch 2 is showing steep profit declines there as well. And with the AIception stealing our RAM, hard drives, SSDs, GPUs, CPUs, and everything just to create horrid spyware algorithms, useless chatbots, and making our daily lives hell, and trying to sell it all back to us as a subscription, and the service we use every day being made hell, it's not just a hardware crash, it's also a software crash. I've been working on switching my setups. I've moved all of my video writing to this program called Obsidian, where you write in Markdown format, but you can still fit in HTML formats wherever you feel, so I can still use it how I normally would with minimal changes. There's just not the Google Docs GUI, but I could use LibreOffice if I was so inclined. Obsidian is a little bit nicer though, and it's definitely what I want to stick with, as opposed to giving Google my video ideas to train their AI with. And back to the topic at hand though, price gouging and inflation in this market is disgusting. And with all of these consumer computing companies deciding to abandon the average consumer like this, we need to collectively remember their names and make sure that when it's all said and done, they are punished or not bought from. I don't want to see any of you people who are sticking up for the consumer buy a stick of Micron RAM ever again. And software is the same way. Adobe's in hot water right now for deciding to shut down Adobe Animate, you know, a program that people who subscribe to them use and pay for, and they can just decide, nah, animators don't need it. I'll talk about it in the future, but for now I'm using a software called Kdenlive to edit YouTube videos. I used to use a few other things like Vegas Pro and DaVinci Resolve, but I know that Blackmagic will soon engage in enshittification when DaVinci Resolve ends up the winner of the video editing war. And it's tough, because you can see the writing on the wall for it happening, but you want to use the better program. But once they win, it's only a matter of time. And it sucks, and with everything moving to subscriptions, it's as if the powers that be cannot accept the masses owning their media, owning their games, and being free from the hell that is lifetime subscription modeling. It feels like with the average person, your John, Jane, and Jane Remover does, they might see benefit in getting a whatever laptop and subscribing to something like GeForce Now to play their games. And that's fine in itself, and services like this entice the consumer with convenience as a forefront, with low upfront costs and a minimalist mindset. They really did this shit to scoop up millennials, but that's a different discussion. It makes you think if ownership will be a luxury, and based on its current market it might be. Nvidia recently said they're limiting the base plan of GeForce Now to 100 hours of use per month, and if you go above, you'll get billed for it. And this sucks because the average person doesn't see the issues. They don't see the problem with the subscription model subverting traditional ownership pathways and taking over the market. The idea is they lure you in with all these enticing features and act as if you don't need a desktop at home. And if you have nothing to hide, you don't need to hide anything. And to not worry and give big tech everything you own ever. The Steam Deck and the idea of the Steam Machine is so popular right now because it's pushing against the establishment and the narrative, and people are tired of not owning in some capacity the things they pay for and use. It's true that you can't play everything with it, and you won't be able to play everything with the Steam Machine either, but I'm sure the people who will buy one don't really care about that. A return to ownership is the best possible way to reward a company like Valve for respecting the consumer. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Valve is the best company ever and glaze Gabe Newell for infinity, because at the end of the day, they exist to make profit and get something out of. For all the people who are going to be in the comments complaining about my support of Valve, Gabe Newell, and Steam, I'm sorry you aren't able to think critically enough to realize Valve is not a monopoly. I'm sorry to make you realize that you think a store that didn't have a shopping cart for years is the savior of gaming. And for those of you who feel this way towards Valve and Steam and support Epic Games and all of that, which, by the way, I want the Epic Games store to be good as well, but with their behavior about the market, their behavior towards AI, and their behavior supporting the lawsuits against Steam in the UK and everywhere else, I will never support them. And for all the people who comment this on my videos and people like that, where do you play your games library? Okay, you aren't going to show up to my video and tell me you don't own a Steam account. Fucking kill yourself. In conclusion, I don't know everything, but I feel a type of way about how everything in the tech world is trying to push away ownership for subscriptions and move towards control. I won't even speak about that online control act making waves through the free world. With the insane market from computer hardware right now, it begs the question what ownership means. I built a computer this fall and installed Linux because I don't want to have to upgrade or get new hardware until this all goes over. If that means I hold on to the system for 10 years, so be it. I will do so. I want traditional ownership to return, and it's clear that I'm not the only person who feels this way. I want us as a collective to be in control of what's rightfully ours, and the powers that be don't like this way of thinking. To them, it's subscribe or suffer. I don't know if the AI bubble will burst this year, or the next one, or the one after that, and how bad it's going to be when it happens. But whatever happens, it will change the PC gaming market, and the idea of ownership likely forever. Thank you for watching this rant. Please comment down below your thoughts if you agree or disagree and what you think. Like and subscribe if you enjoy the video, and follow my Twitch. I hope to stream more often, but we'll see. Anyway, a dank pancake out. Thanks for watching. Peace.